Proper number 12, Irish whiskey.
Welcome to Pub Talk, episode 5, with Dan Hooker and Oscar Willis. Dan, we're here again, Sierra Gold. Give us a cheers.
Cheers, my friend.
Cheers, mate. And it's a big one. It's a pay-per-view on a fight week, so there's big fights. And actually, it's a big card. First of all, we will go back last week. Fiziev versus Brad Riddell. Great fight. Obviously ended the third round not the way you probably wanted, but what did you think of the fight and what did you think of Brad's performance?
I thought it was a great fight. I thought he was performing very well. They're both so similar. That's why I guess there was so much interest in the fight and intrigue in the fight, because they're just such a similar style. Yeah, it's just the game we play. Brad got clipped in the third round, but yeah, for sure he'll be back and be making waves in no time. It's such a funny sport. It's such a cool sport. It's like the exact kick that Fiziev got hit with on his debut, and then he's able. It's just there's always funny things like that just repeat themselves in this game. It's like a cruel. If you don't laugh at it, you gotta laugh to stop yourself from crying, because it's such a cruel game. You need to laugh at it.
Is it one of those? Is that sort of, because obviously even Fiziev said afterwards, he's like, I don't know if I'm really happy or sad, to be honest, because I've hurt a guy I really like. Are those losses easier to take when it's to a guy that you actually get on with, or is it almost harder in a way where you're like, well, fuck, if I'd have beaten you, you wouldn't have even been mad at me? And
nah, they never get. They're all as bad. They're all equally as terrible as each other. I would say that wins is different. Sometimes you'll win and it's not the way you wanted to, and you're not that excited about it or got that much adrenaline. Other wins are big. I can say like fighting my hometown sold out arena. A win like that is obviously head and shoulders above a close decision win in a town that's not yours and no one cared and there's a stink fight. Those are obviously two different things, but every loss is equally as painful. You'll get even if I compare the last one that Makhachev won and then the loss to Poirier, to me those are the same emotions of defeat. They hurt just as bad, but everyone else watching is just yeah, but that one was great. And you're the man, and it was a great fight, best fight this year, best fight here. It was such a war, you know what I mean? And it's just yeah, but it sucks just as bad for me. Because it was a great fight doesn't mean it hurts less. You go out there to win.
But also, surely I always think in those situations, you go through 25 minutes of utter fucking hell. And then to lose, it's well, I just went through 25 minutes of hell for essentially to not win. It's I can imagine that being.
Yeah, well, it's that. That's that's a good point. It's
not to make you feel bad about
physical.
The
It's it's a balance of obviously letting yourself down, emotional. You put on a bad performance, then obviously the emotional pain is going to be worse, but the physical pain is less. It's or a fight like Poirier where the emotional pain is not that much, but then the physical pain is quite high, but you still have the exact equal amount of pain.
It's all shit. It's just shit.
It's just shit unless you win.
Fighting sucks, except that every so often. When you fight like Poirier and you're obviously marked up and you look essentially you've been hit by a car. Do you then walk through the airport the next day and everyone thinks you're some sort of insane crackhead who's been through?
Oh, you get some funny looks. The funniest one is a couple of times. It's not the Poirier fight, but I can't remember which fight. It was another fight. I think it was my second fight in the UFC. And you know how you go through the facial recognition?
Yes.
They said, no, go to the facial thing. I was like, this is not going to work. And the lady was like, well, try it. I went up to the facial thing and I'm standing there and it's does not recognize. Went to immigration and I had glasses and a hat on. I had it all pulled down. And the guy's he handed him my passport and he's like, take your hat off and your glasses. And I was just like this. And he goes, oh, put it back on. Yeah, it's just how honestly. So I was funny, cruel, another.
Thanks for reminding me about my fucking terrible career choice.
Many cruel, humorous moments.
I remember when I was at uni, when you come over to America, unless you're in a free city like Las Vegas, most places need your passport for ID. They won't take a driver's license. And I remember, side note, one time I showed my UK driver's license, and the guy was like, I can't take this. I was like, why not? He's like, well, it might be fake. I was like, so you think I researched what a fake UK license looked like, practiced the accent for days on end, so I could get in this fucking shithole of a club? Didn't get in. But yeah, so another time I used to take my passport out all the time, got it all crinkled, and when I went home to go through customs, it wouldn't work, and the guy was looking at it, and he made me go in the back room to get into my own country and get into the interrogator.
Hey.
What's wrong with your passport?
I'm from here.
Yeah, I live here, you man. Let me. Oh, well, it's the first time they've ever shut the curtains on us.
Fair enough.
I told you that was who she was. She told you she doesn't
hates
like
you,
me.
bro.
She doesn't like me. Anyway, moving on. Did you? I assume you didn't get to, but did you see any of the main event?
No, I was watching it out back, like I was when Saturday. We had a pretty tidy cut
Yes,
on
you
him
did.
from there, so I was watching that get stitched. I got like I don't know what a sick intrigue into like watching that. So I'm like there.
You know what? That doesn't surprise me.
The doctor was like, I can just like kind of teach you how to do it. Like you can do it back home, and I was like, yeah, that's a great idea. It's like Luke. Pull, take that through.
Dr. Hooker.
I was like, I'll give it a crack. You know what I mean?
Of course, yeah. So next time you get a cut and you come out with the most horrific scar, look like fucking that thing from the Goonies.
Like a patch job.
There you go. But yeah, so moving on from last week, I mean, those two fights were unbelievable. Both of them were unbelievable. Neither one got a fight of the night bonus, bizarrely. But we'll move on from that. That's a bit of politics there.
Yeah, Mallory's my girl, so I'm going to stay out of that.
There we go.
I'm going to stay out of that argument.
Yeah, fair enough. But moving on to this week, obviously a main event that you've probably, considered before with Charlie Olives, your mate. And
I'm like, I saw him at the PI and I was just like, hey, what can you say? Like,
I really thought.
just talk like the whole shit, and then you just say, whoa.
Did he have a problem with it?
Nah, he didn't look my
I mean, does he ever look sad? He's got a great smile.
Just
It's like cling all the
look
time.
the direction you just.
He
like,
wouldn't fit in London.
Just what do you do?
Yeah. Well, when you see that fight, obviously everyone's just looking at Dustin and thinking he's the favourite. I'll say that. But do you think people are kind of just overlooking Charles? Do you think there's an argument that maybe Dustin having 3 back-to-back camps for 5 rounds? When you look at that fight, break it down as the person who would know more than me.
It's a funny one. Like at the end of the day, that fight is like a true coin flip. Like you can say whatever you want to say. Everyone's saying, you edge it towards the cardio and like durability of Poirier, and he's on like a hot streak. But Charles as well, like he's always got that submission threat. I feel like I'm not sure. Like Charles was saying, he's got the wrestling to get him down, but I'm not sure he does. Like I'm not sure he does have the wrestling to get it down. If he can take him down, I feel like Dustin's in some serious trouble, just because Charles has such like a threatening submission game. Like that's where he needs to get the fight. That's where he needs to get the fight. If it stays on the feet, like he's really just not. I don't feel like he's got much for Poirier.
Do you think it's sort of like this weird narrative now that every time Charles fights, he's got quit in him, but then his last fight he showed that he didn't have any quit in him, and it's like this topic of conversation around him is that he can break in those fights. Does that matter, or is that individual fight by fight? Does it depend on what
that can in the past, yeah, like that was like a tendency. He really in this last streak has shown that he's kind of developed past that. Or he's just in a good space. I don't even want to say that a fighter is going to be like that forever.
Yeah.
Or it's like waves of emotion. Like there's so much that goes on outside of the cage that it's hard to just be like, oh, this guy doesn't quit. It's like his wife could have left him last week.
Yeah.
And something terrible could happen.
I remember when Mark Hunt fought Vadim. I don't know what happened, but it's pretty clear that fight week, like he was dealing with some really like fucking not great shit out the cage. You just don't know.
Yeah, like there's cycles, like and from what it looks like Charles is obviously in a great place now. Whatever was going on, or whatever that mental inadequacy was, like he's definitely sorted that out, and you can tell where it is now. Now he's holding the belt. He's in great mental and physical shape. So I don't feel like that is there anymore, and will be an issue in this fight.
Gaethje for the winner.
Oh, Who else? The other fight's booked.
Fair
Dariush Makhachev is booked, so Gagey for the winner, for sure.
Your boy Kai is on the card against Cody Garbrandt. I saw Cody today at the media day. He's usually, I feel like he's usually kind of brief and snippy with the media, but today he was sort of talking a bit longer. I don't know whether maybe he's a bit tired and sort of was kind of just like, speaking out loud and sort of rambling a little bit, but obviously that's a big cut for him, right? To 125, the first time.
Well, is it? Like,
well, listen, you're the guy who just did the PI test. So
I know he's fought in like California before, and if you fight in California, they take and release your fight day weight. Like once you're in.
Yeah, I think you told me once what Poirier's weight was. Wasn't it like 180?
Yeah, he's like a big dude. Poirier's like a thick boy. Garbrandt's not so much. Like he was like one of the smallest bantamweights. I think. I don't know what it is in pounds. You have to transfer it yourself, but it's like bantamweight's 61 kilos. I think he was only 64 kilos.
Oh, really?
For
but
fighting
even
like to put on 3 kilos is like nothing,
But even surely, just the very act of like making it for the first time, right? Is it not that big a deal?
For sure, but that's an intangible. That's not something you can go into the fight as a coach or as a fighter. That's not something you can take into the fight and be like, this guy's gonna gas. This guy's gonna have no energy. This guy's gonna guess himself, because that's something that's completely outside of your control. So why would you even expend any energy thinking about it? You need to only focus on the things that you have control over, like technical inadequacies. Like time is better spent on those than like an intangible like that.
Here's a weird question for you. Cody has shown in the past against his old mate TJ that if he gets hit really hard, he kind of just goes into a bit of berserker mode, right? But is that even a strategy you can exploit as an opponent? Do you just go in there and go, well, I'll just crack him really hard and expect a barrage and sort of get a bit more technical and slip it? Or do you have to kind of assume that he's grown from that and won't just go marauding in with these big winging and hooks?
You can see that, like you can see it, like it's very obvious. A bit harder as a fighter, but like me, because I'll be like cornering Kai for that fight, I'll be able to see it because it's something that I do myself. Like I'm gonna fight real smart. You get like hit once and you're just like, oh, you tried to hit me in the face. You just like straight up lose your temper. Like you try not to, but like it happens in the gym, happens in fights. You just straight up lose your temper and start going berserk. Like I'll be able to pick it up. I'll be able to like call it, and it's obviously we've got like a plan for that. We've got like if that mode is to get switched on, we obviously have like some kind of like a plan and a way to adjust to it.
This is not comparable, but one time I sparred with a fucking taekwondo guy, and I'm very small, so those people really annoy me because they could just teep me away for days. And eventually he did something that annoyed me. Anyway, I tried to take my gloves off so I could fight him barefoot. I was like, oh, fucking do this. Anyway, so that was my bad. But yeah, I understand what you mean when you get hit. When you look at the fight itself, you excited for it? It's like Garbrandt's one of those guys, right? Because of the hype that he had behind him, he's just a big name that your guy Kai can kind of grab and take and exploit, right?
For sure, I feel like that fight's a title eliminator. That's how I feel.
I mean, it's a division that needs one, right? They're running back the trilogy, and
they're running back the trilogy off a first round submission.
First? John, was Figueiredo Moreno 2 a first round or a second round finish? Second round. See, I told you it's second.
But like a pretty dominant, pretty dominant fight, like pretty dominant finish, and for you to run it back, like that obviously shows that there's no one else in the division.
Right.
Like I watch every UFC event.
It was a third round. Me and you.
It was the third round. He submitted him, right? Like it's a finish.
Yes.
It's a finish. You lose, you finish.
He got tapped out.
That means you died. And you're going to give him a straight away, like a rematch for something that died? Like you can't. That division is screaming out for a title contention fight. And this is the fight. Like Cody Garbrandt, former champion, coming down.
Especially they were going to give Cody a title shot basically straight away anyway.
Yeah, like this is a title eliminator.
Yeah.
You can't I can't name anyone else that makes more sense than the winner of this fight to fight for the next title. So as far as I'm concerned, that's why I'm excited for the fight. That's why Kai's so excited for the fight. That's why our team's so excited for the fight, because the winner of this fight especially in a dramatic fashion, especially with a finish, especially with a knockout, earns himself the title shot.
Yeah. In a division like that as well, right? Like you said, they're running back that title fight because at this point in that division, those two are probably the most well-known figures in that division, right? Now Cody's in it. He's obviously number 3. I'd say Kai's number 4. You know, fucking Cejudo came back. He'd be number 5. You know, all that sort of stuff. So yeah, I think you're right. Like they need to keep the title relevant and interesting, right? So I think you're absolutely right. This is title limit.
For sure, like
especially with the history, like Dana was like used to shit on the division all the time. And
between like Kai and Figueiredo, like I guess there's guys with great records and on good win streaks and things like that, but no one knows him. You need to understand that unless people know your name, unless people you got a nice little highlight reel that they can throw in there to market the fight, like you're not going to get the title shot. Like you can't be that silly that you're like, oh, just a boring decision wins and I'll get a title shot over Cody Garbrandt or Kai Kara France off a big name win like that. So it's just like, it makes the most sense.
It's almost an argument I've seen at lightweight recently about some people winning a lot of fights but not necessarily doing so in the most exciting fashion. Then the exciting guy gets a title shot over them.
Be more exciting.
There you go. Done. Sorted.
Just
Result.
do that.
Dan has fixed the flyweight division.
Just do that.
Elsewhere, another boy, Tai. I like how you've got Tai and Kai.
Tai and Kai.
They can get on each other's shoulders,
Ready
call each
to
other
go.
Tai Kai.
I have seen them spar when like...
That seems improbable to me.
That was years ago. It would have been like 2011.
When Tai was 5? Like how...
2011. No, Tai was bigger. Tai was like 160 kilos. He was bigger than he is now. Like he had to lose like 60 pounds to make heavyweight.
And was that a productive spar for both of them?
I enjoyed it.
It's a bit like you,
Nah,
basically.
Tai's like so technical and so quick and so agile and so like athletic for a big guy that he's able to spar someone like that without doing anything dumb or hurting them. Like not many guys that big are that athletic.
He had the line in the media day today where he was saying someone asked him how many shoeys does he think he's done in his life, and he went, oh, I don't know. How many times a priest been to church?
He's obviously prepared for that question.
Well, I feel bad. Like Tai's a funny one, right? Because there's a lot of guys in the sport who they get like a name attached to them, and even as media, we can encounter it. They'd be like, "Oh, guys, can you not ask me about that? Like, I don't want to be the fucking this guy or whatever."
Nah, he doesn't give it. He doesn't go flying.
He's quite enjoying. He's like, introduced the shoey.
He doesn't care. Like he doesn't care. He doesn't like. The shoey guy, like he's happy being the shoey guy. It's like the funniest thing. He doesn't even want to lose that moniker.
Well, it's hilarious because he gets given shoeys, which is essentially what he wants to do.
It's like, You see him in Abu Dhabi when there was like no beers, and he's like up on the cage, like, God, why?
And then he came back.
Where are the beers?
He came in the media and goes, "Is there beers back there?" What? Fuck! Then he like pissed the bed at his hotel.
Yeah,
it happens.
Funny. It's going to be a good after party. Shocker. At least win or lose, that after party will be good. Last weekend's dog shit. I'm not going to lie.
Sorry, Brad.
I think we... Hey, it's the game. It's the game. We bought I was with Frankie. We bought like a box of claws, had the claws.
Why are you guys all white claws?
I think I drank 11 and a half of them. We had half and went to sleep. I was like, this after party sucks.
When I came to yours, when I came to your room in Abu Dhabi, I came in and there were just like buckets of beers everywhere around the room.
And we like peer pressured you into buying us more.
You
buy us more beers.
I was like, guys, I've got to go. I've got to catch a flight. You're like, get a bit. But I also counted. You'd had 100 empty Corona bottles in there.
Whoa.
I was counting the buckets because there's 10 in each bucket. And I was like, there's 10 fucking buckets in there. And they're all empty. I was like, that's impressive work because it'd only been 4 hours.
Well, winning, like, I don't feel like you get like good time drunk. Like you get like, you're just like, like have a couple with you guys, like talk about how great everything went.
I am the best in the world.
And then you lose and you just get like sad drunk where you're just like, I want to forget this.
Making fun of the guy delivering the beers.
I want to forget this ever happened.
Yeah, and then you have to get on a long-ass flight as well. I feel like that's like when you can't get access to just regular drinks.
Yeah, but we went like straight away.
Yeah. Anyway.
I slept the whole time.
That's not bad, is it really? I did not. Sean O'Malley's on the card. He's like the new guy. I'd like to get your thoughts on him. Go.
He's fighting Paiva.
Paiva.
Yeah, it was just like, he's really small.
It's quite short, yeah.
He really small. Sean really big.
Oh, fine. Done already. Do you think like
Fight.
no.
Not sure about that one.
Who's the biggest guy you've ever fought?
In the UFC?
In life?
In life? What, in an MMA fight?
We don't need to put parameters around it. I've just asked you, who's the biggest lad you ever fought? You don't need to say if it was legal or not legal.
I did fight MMA against a guy. It was like 130 kilos.
That's like 266 pounds.
Yeah.
I think. That's a complete guess.
He's a big lad.
How did that go?
Soccer kicked him.
Oh.
Yeah. It was a good fight. It'll be somewhere on there on the internet.
How heavy were you?
About 84 kilo.
That's not so bad.
Kiwi pride.
Yeah, boy.
That's what we called it.
There you go.
Kiwi pride. It was
Oh,
like
'cause you got to kick him in the
pride rules, like head stomps and soccer kicks, but also elbows. As well.
If Pride was still around today, would you fight in it? Would you prefer fighting in Pride or in the UFC?
I like the crazy stuff. You know what I mean? Like I like.
So you want to fight a guy who's 400
I like-
pounds and dying of steroid abuse?
that, and I want to do like a crazy walkout.
Oh, all right.
You know what I mean? Like 10 backup dancers.
Yeah. So
like,
if you okay, let's
and
go.
and a
Design
costume.
your crazy walkout. What song is it? Or no. I tell you what. Pick one live band or singer, rapper, whatever. Not a rapper because boxers do that all the time.
If you could do it.
Yeah, like who would walk you
I
to
think
the
I
ring?
ain't even too high. Like I have like ACD, so
That's not bad.
AC/DC like there,
Yeah.
but I don't know if they'd come out. You know?
I think they would. Look, Metallica just played a Triller show.
Did they?
They did.
Now I feel bad for not watching it.
I wouldn't. It was anyway. Listen. So other than that, who else is on the card? That's a good one. Give me your favourite card because I can't remember them right now. Favourite fight?
Interested in the Emma Ige fight. Like
No, that's going to be. I feel like that's a. When was it Ige who fought Gavin Tucker? Good.
It's just like having a conversation with yourself.
But he fought Gavin Tucker, and I thought that was going to be a back and forth war, and he actually just knocked him out within.
Bro, Ige's a stud.
Ige's really
Ige's
good.
a stud.
But so is
Emmett's a
Emmett,
stud.
man. Emmett hasn't been around for
and the like body doubles as well. They're just like.
But that's a great fight. I like the fight between. I want to see Dominic Cruz against Pedro Munoz
yeah,
because
for sure.
I feel like recently Dominic Cruz, it's like people are sort of.
Did you see him? I bumped into like DC was standing there with Brett Okamoto like out the back, and he was like, "Man," DC was like, "Man, I'm going home to lick my wounds, man." He's like, "You see what Cruz said about me?" I was like, "Yeah, that's rough, bro."
Cruz was literally just like, yeah, it's like, oh, you know, as a commentator, I like to look at my colleagues like John Anik.
I like
think
to mute
He's
him.
like, when DC's on it, I kind of just mute him because he like, you know, he doesn't do his homework, gets in, gets his money, gets out, which look, you know, having.
Brett was like, "Even if you did, why would you say that?"
I think that's a very Dominic
you're
Cruz
like
thing
friends.
to do. Dude,
Yeah,
they're like
no,
on
he's
the
good.
broadcast, and Cruz is like the only one like.
He just says what he feels like
yeah.
saying.
When Rogan ever says something, Cruz is always like, "No, that's not what's happening, Joe." Just like then you hear the awkward silence, and then it's like, "Good on, bar there," like as they try and move on. It's a weird one. Are you going to be at next week's show as well, or is this like your last show for the?
Nah, I'm off to midway through next week. Shoot off to New York. Also, that'll be a good one. Where do I train while I'm in New York?
There's a lot of Gracie gyms there.
I'm in New York for a week and a half.
Well, they're a bit stricter on the old video.
The floaters. Oh,
That's what I said. That's what I said.
Covidia?
No, they just.
what New York is?
You need to carry your vaccine card everywhere
I
you
got
go.
a pass thing.
But yeah, I remember like the gyms like I'm still at limited capacity. I think when I went there. Not
I'm
that
in Manhattan.
I'll be honest, I didn't go.
I'm in Manhattan.
Well, here in Manhattan, there's a boxing gym right next to
that could be good.
MSG, but it's $35 to use for an hour. That's quite a lot.
That's quite a lot of money.
Admittedly, I didn't just get paid to fight
1 hour.
in Abu Dhabi, but yeah.
I'll be all right.
Also, surely as a professional fighter yourself, can you not just walk in and be like, this is my $35
You don't want
right
to
now.
bank on it though. You don't want to just
I mean,
walk
if
in
it-
and just be like,
Well, there's a few fighters
You know what I mean?
A few fighters try and get in places and can't. You know, I've seen that.
that's hilarious.
yeah.
That's hilarious.
Would that be the most awkward thing in the world if you actually tried? Have you ever tried that?
Nah,
Good.
I think just from being a doorman, like I just don't, unless I'm invited
Yeah.
previously
Yeah.
or I'm with someone, like I'm not gonna. It's not my style to
can't
just walk
imagine
up
it
to
being
someone
your
and just being like,
Hey,
you
Dan
know who I
Hooker!
am? The guy's just like, nah. Because if they were like, nah, I'd probably just be like, oh, I'm going home. This is terrible.
That would be a bit of a mood killer, would it not?
I'm going home.
You think really banking on yourself?
I suck.
Yeah. I've done. You know, being like, I've never been a celebrity, but I've been paid for.
Oh, come on, mate. You're getting there. Hey.
Stop it.
Got a few photos, eh?
Oh, thanks, mate. Really appreciate that. I have had for my birthday when I was a bit younger, I used to get the VIP section or a booth at a club, and then in my head would assume that I'm practically a celebrity and I should do what I want, and then I always get fucking removed.
Well, when I used to be like a bouncer as well, like guys would come in, and like I went to school with them.
Right.
And so they'd like come in and I'd see them like tipping the bouncers and stuff and then just buying like $300 like rounds of drinks and stuff, and like the waiters are carrying them over and I'm just looking at them, I'm like, I know you. I'm like, you work at Foot Locker. I know you only earn $500 a week. Like you'll just spend your week's pay.
Oh, mate, that was the thing to
And
do.
they come
though.
every week.
Yeah.
And I'm just like,
We used to do there's a club called Studio where I used to live, and they used to do £1 vodka Red Bulls.
yeah, that's like illegal in New Zealand. They
Yeah,
can't make like
it should be illegal in the UK.
Yeah, they will just preload.
I
New
did-
Zealand is like you don't even like you just drink like your 10 beers.
Yeah,
and
then go- yeah, that's
yeah.
the- we
and then
got-
you only buy like a handful of drinks.
We do
you
the
know?
pre-lash at the house. That's what we
Yeah.
called it. Then you go, and then
But if it's like $1 drink, what do you need a?
because I was fucking skint. I worked in a fish and chip shop. I fucking paid like £6 an hour. It was terrible. I mean, I used to go to the club after work smelling of fucking fish and chips. Dogs and cats following me down the street. But one time I drank 30 vodka Red Bulls and just fell asleep in the road outside. Cars like having a
After
drink.
work,
Well, after the club, yeah. Went to the club, drank.
30.
I did a good
That's a
job.
lot of caffeine.
Yeah. Well, I fell asleep, and the ambulance came and had to call my mum to come pick me up.
Because you were like asleep having a heart attack.
It's like fucking mangled in the road. Anyway, that's another drunk story for the podcast. I think it's time for question time. It's a bit earlier than usual.
Come on, Janindu.
How did you know? He's literally it should be called
I've
Janindu.
learned his name.
Janindu
That's
time.
that's how many questions he's asked.
He does come through every time, and I appreciate it because sometimes these lazy fuckers don't actually ask anything, and I'm like, oh shit, am I gonna have to make some stuff up? But Janindu is here.
My man.
Dan, this is from Dean H. Would you rather quit drinking or quit fighting?
Drinking.
Okay, he asked me the same question, but quit TheMacLife, and the jury is out. I would rather quit drinking.
I would rather quit my job.
Then I really am an alcoholic. If I actually
Yeah.
I think that's the decision you make. Like, okay, well, if I didn't have this 12 hours in the day to do this, I could really commit more to the lifestyle I'd like to choose. You know, from Justin Jones, John's brother, maybe not. I don't know. If we fought, how long do you think I could last against you? And I could answer that honestly for you.
You answer.
Not long would be the answer. I think just one of your little knees would just get me within 10
A little
seconds.
knee, yeah, a little
just
knee. I
and
think that'll be the money maker.
just
on
walk
that
in,
one.
walk in, just boink straight up the middle.
Cash the check, you
Yeah,
reckon?
so I reckon under 10 seconds. You know, unless I ran backwards and tried to just run around the ring for as long as possible.
Yeah, like that can happen, you know.
I wouldn't do that though, because I'm a warrior, man. Like you
Pride.
don't know, bro. You don't.
I'm going out on my shield.
I've got that mentality, bro. Like you don't know about my mentality.
What's the one? Man, when I really see red,
Yeah, because you don't understand, bro. I've been through some shit.
I can't train
Yeah.
because sometimes
My
I
moves
just
would fucking kill you,
sometimes
dude.
I just see red.
Yeah, bro. Like,
And no one's safe.
yo, this guy. Like one time I was in a bar. There's 8 of them. I saw red. I woke up. They're all on the ground, dude. Like I didn't even know if they lived. Anyway, that's what you all sound like.
That's you guys.
From Janindu Pereira comes
My
through.
guy.
What's your top 3 KOs in MMA?
I feel bad. Forrest is my guy. But
Yeah.
Anderson Silva Forrest,
That's a
that
good
blew
one.
my mind.
That wasn't just the KO, but that was the everything.
Yeah,
about
that was
it.
like
that was the whole thing.
That
yeah.
was the whole ninja stuff. Edson Barboza's a spinning kick, even though he sucks.
Why does Edson suck? Okay. Well, we'll leave that
on,
there. Well, now you're in the same division again.
Hey, you know
welcome.
what I mean?
There you
You
go.
know what I
There
mean?
you go. There's always this. There's no websites right about this thing we do here, except there's this one website that always does. They'll be writing about that. You're welcome.
That's I got a direct quote of that one. Paulo Costa, Israel.
That's
a good
pretty
one.
good.
That's a good one.
I'd say Anderson.
And the humping. I guess that one really.
I mean, that was
That's like the cherry. That's the cherry on the cake. For me,
Yes.
you know what I mean?
bit of sexual assault in life.
I was like, oh, he did him like that.
Yeah, that was bad. And then the coach.
That was
well, not bad. I mean, objectively, it was entertaining.
Oh, it was
But,
very.
I mean, if you were
I was
maybe
like, oh, he knocked him. Oh, he humping him.
yeah, that was something. I'd say the 3 things would be like,
Salt in the wound.
yes, a little bit. Calm. I'd say McGregor Alvarez was a good one, or the whole performance a bit like Silva. That was pretty slick.
That was like perfect.
Ooh, very nice. I thought, I guess you'd have to say Silva Vitor was pretty unbelievable. Front kick. And then I remember watching Ngannou's knockout of Overeem, and I thought Overeem's head had been removed from his shoulders.
Yeah, that was a bad one.
That's pretty-
Those are 3 good ones. Those are the knockout.
Yeah.
Some of mine is the extras.
Okay. If you could choose one song to play every time you walked into a room, not even to an arena, into a room for the rest of your life, what song would you
It
choose?
has to be a good song.
For you, it could be like Thunderstruck.
I'm going with that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you're
that's a great
welcome.
suggestion.
Okay.
What's yours?
I mean, I could be really obnoxious and be like, God save the Queen, and just
Yeah,
walk
but it's gonna like piss you off. Like you're gonna think like the people you walk into the room are gonna heard it 5 times.
Oh, but I could-
You're gonna have heard it
1,000
20,000
I
times.
could take a perverse enjoyment out of like something like Who Let the Dogs Out. You go, Who let the dogs out? As you walk into a room.
20,000 times.
And then I'd kill myself.
Still funny. You walk in.
No, you're right. I would pick. There's a UK football song called Vindaloo. That's all right. It's like just drumming for a bit. Yeah, it's just drumming for. No, Tom Jones' Delilah. That's a great song.
Ah, yeah.
Yeah. What's your most memorable, for good or bad, fan encounter?
Yeah. When I'm eating, it's probably not
Not ideal.
the time. You know what I mean? There was one, I got 2. Like one, it was like the coronavirus thing, like was just kind of catching headlines.
When we thought it was going to kill
and it
us
was
all.
like we were over here for the Ramiro Adesanya fight. I was coming back through, was at LAX. I just got like a burger. I found like a quiet corner, and I just like sat down, took a few like bites on my burger or whatever, and then a guy came up to me and he's just like, "Hey Dan, can we grab a picture?" Yeah, and I was just like, before that I was like, man, coronavirus ain't shit. This ain't gonna turn into nothing. And then the guy stuck his hand out and I was like, I don't know about this. But I took it. I was like, yeah, all right. Like took it, but I put hand sanitizer on for like, I think that was like the first time I'd ever used the hand sanitizer that my wife gave me and was like, use this.
I remember.
The other one was chicken wings. Chicken wings. I had a dozen chicken wings. I was halfway through a dozen chicken wings, like covered in chicken grease. Chicken grease on my hands, like I'm eating the chicken wings. Same thing. The guy came up and he's just like, "Hey Dan, we grab a picture," and he holds it out, and I was like, "He's not serious." It was like he's not. I was like, "He's not serious." So I don't know. I could have just said like, "Nah, man, it's like not the time," but I was like, "I'm gonna see how committed this guy
geezer is to get a photo."
So I put it down. I got like the napkins. Like was just sitting there, and I was taking my merry time. Like I was doing it like comically slow. Like I was like. And I got out there like the sanitary ones, and I was just like took my time, like minutes. We're talking minutes of this guy just standing there like. And I just finally after like 2-3 minutes, just like stood up, like picture, and it was like, he's committed.
Yeah.
I was like, this guy's insane.
Most of them are. If you could compare yourself to an animal, what would it be and why? I'll tell you what, just put. Janindu does come out with fresh questions every time. Good for you, man. You should probably work in MMA media. Continue.
Sloth. I like sloths.
Wow.
I have seen a sloth in real life.
I've never seen a sloth in real life. I did go to Australia, Melbourne Zoo, twice actually.
Sloths are not from.
I understand that, but I went to a zoo and
Koalas are nice. Yeah, koalas are nice.
Don't they have chlamydia?
They have the most chlamydia.
Well, you haven't been in my bedroom. What's the best prank you've done?
You are not getting any dates on this show.
That was a fucking given, was it not? Of the things I've said. Unless they're under a certain height. Then in which case, maybe there's a case.
He's in.
He's in. Brilliant. I thought we'd going to get through today without mentioning that subject. We did not. What's the best prank you've done to your parents/siblings?
Nah.
Okay.
Nah.
I'm trying to think of pranks I've done. Oh, actually, maybe no to that as well, actually. No. What's the craziest thing to do in your bucket list? Mount Everest, bungee jumping, skydiving, etc.
I don't know, like I started running like recently, and I thoroughly enjoy it. I want to get into probably obviously when I retire, because you can't just destroy your knees while you're
forever.
still like a professional fighter.
Yeah.
But like ultra marathons.
Damn.
That looks sick.
Like 50 miles or something?
Yeah, they're like 50 miles, 60 miles. Ultra marathon.
I hate running.
I'm going to get into it.
Us dwarves are natural sprinters, so I hate running. For me, craziest thing to do would be I'm planning on, Winter Warriors starts in Vegas in January. I'm going to try and do that.
Yeah?
Yeah. It's 20 weeks.
Yeah.
It's quite a commitment with my current lifestyle, so we'll see. This is not a commitment, but that's the plan.
No, you're committed now.
Well, that's the plan. I'm going to do it. It costs $1,000.
I have really peer pressured some people into doing that.
I'll do it.
Like people are like, oh, I'm thinking about it, and I'm just like, you are just soft if you don't do it. I was like, just do it. It's easy.
It's so easy. Funny. I do it all the time. I do it for a living.
And then the next thing the person comes back and they're like, I'm signed up, and I'm like,
I just can you imagine if you did it, and then you your nose just got fucking sent that way? I mean,
who coaches it out here?
At Extreme. I think it's
both teams are Extreme.
I don't know. I just know that the one in Vegas is Extreme. I know there's loads in California, so maybe they partner those guys up. I don't really know, but I think it's Ryan Couture does it here.
Oh yeah,
I think so.
Yeah. Nah, as long as you it'll be sweet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll hold you to that, Dan.
But what if you bust his nose?
Oh.
And you win.
And then I'll hump him while he's on the floor like Israel.
And then you hump him into the ground and have the best night ever.
Yeah, and then
that's why we do the game. You flip the coin. You either...
Okay. All right. I even left a bit of beer to not cheers you an empty glass this week.
You know the rules.
It's finally caught up. It's kind of learned. Cheers, Dan.
Pleasure.
When you're this gifted, you can always give a proper gift. Rich and smooth proper number 12 Irish whiskey.